What's up, guys? NoZoupForYou here, and I've got another episode of Zoupy sales for you today. A lot of you gave me some really positive feedback regarding my last episode of Zoupy sales, the reboot, and I'm going to start doing these a lot more often, and today's actually perfect for them because I'm on vacation right now. I'm in Iceland trying to see the Northern Lights, so I'm not at home making content. This is obviously pre-recorded. That being said, now that I am going to be doing this series fairly often, I don't want to highlight my own gameplay. I want to use this as an opportunity to highlight your gameplay, your achievements, and your accomplishments. So if you have an awesome video, go ahead and send it to NoZoupForYou@gmail.com. I'll sift through them, I'll take a look, and I'll throw it up there as a background for my mindless banter. Make sure it's a good one, though, and please make sure if you do send them, it's not the day before a major update, because those major updates invalidate any replays, and it sucks getting a replay and not being able to use it because we've had an update. Anyhow, on to the story for this week, and you might have seen the title on this video, The Time I Got Run Over by a Bull. This is funny. This is actually kind of funny. I went to junior college in Maryland for a year. Wasn't the best high school student, though extremely intelligent. I just really didn't concentrate on my studies the way I should have, and as a result, I needed to go to junior college for a year to get my grades up before going onward and outward and away from home on the East Coast. At the time, my friends were all going to school around Maryland. They're going to Salisbury University on the Eastern Shore. One of them went to East Carolina University that I actually did get into my senior year of high school, but for some reason I decided ECU wasn't for me and I went to junior college. I kind of regret that right now. ECU is a fun school, good party school. Would I have made it through? I don't know. Anyhow, all my friends are going to school in the area, and I knew had I followed them or gone to school with them, I probably would not have graduated college. I would have failed out, I would have done bad. I just wouldn't have been successful. So, that year that I was at junior college, I was working at a men's clothing store called Today's Man, which was a direct competitor for Men's Warehouse. And can you guess who won that war? Yeah, if you've never heard of Today's Man, that should give you a hint. Today's Man, as far as I know, is no longer around. Now, at the time, I had a manager that went to school at Oklahoma State University, talked it up, said it's a great school for broadcast journalism, which is what I wanted to do as my major, and that was actually my first of probably 4 or 5 majors. I listened to him, and when the time came, my grades were good, and I applied to Oklahoma State. I got accepted, and I went to school in Oklahoma State. And I must say, Oklahoma State University was probably the best 6 years of my life. Made a lot of friends there, joined a fraternity at some point, and again, that's another story. But I had a really, really good time there. Now, one of my best friends went to Texas A&M University. He decided to go to school there. I think that had been kind of a lifelong ambition of his. So I was pretty close to him. In school, I mean, we were close friends, but Oklahoma State's pretty close to Texas A&M. Now, it's not close by East Coast standards, but out in the Midwest, where your hours between towns, 6 to 8 hours is actually pretty close, and I think it was 6 to 8 hours away. I can't remember. So anyhow, I tell him one day, hey, I got into Oklahoma State, I think I'm going to go there, and he jokingly said, so you're going to go out there and ride bulls. And I just kind of laughed it off, and I didn't think much of it. We were both interested in bull riding at the time. We would go to little bull riding events out in Maryland, and yes, they do have those in Maryland. We went to a PBR event that was in DC one day at one of the venues there, so we enjoyed going to rodeos. We enjoyed watching rough stock riding. And when I went to Oklahoma State, I stayed in the dorms the first year. I was a little dorm rat, and one day I'm in the bathroom, and this guy's in there wearing a cowboy hat. I don't know how we got on the conversation, you know, the weird things you talk about when you're in the bathroom with other people. Somehow it came up that he was on the rodeo team, and he might have been wearing a rodeo shirt. I can't remember. You know, this is, wow, 18 years ago at this time, or something like that. It's 2000. Yeah, it's 18 years. Oh my god, I feel old and time is flying. Where has my life gone? Oh my god. Alright, anyhow, this is 18 years ago, and he said he's on the rodeo team. And I'm like, so how do you get into that? And he said, come out and I'll show you. And like that, I was on the rodeo team. I was on the Oklahoma State Club rodeo team, because it's not a varsity sport. I don't think it is anywhere. And I want to say a week later, they saddled me up on my first giant Brahma ever. Yeah, I'm sitting on a 2,000 or 3,000 pound farm animal, some random guy from the East Coast who just days before said he wanted to be involved with rodeo somehow. What was I thinking? I'm standing on top of this giant animal that could kill me as if I were nothing. And the gates opened up, and I think I lasted 3 seconds. 3 or 4 seconds. I fell off, scared to death that the bull was going to turn around and run after me, and I scurry over the fence, jump over, and some people are kind of chuckling, because apparently the bull just kind of turned around, sniffed me as I was backing up, and walked off on his way. Guess he was a very docile bull. He just doesn't like being rode on. I guess no animal really likes people jumping on top of them with spurs and everything else. Now, I bet you're wondering, I thought you were talking about the time you got run over by a bull. And yeah, I'm getting to that. And oddly enough, in all the times I saddled up on a bull, it did not happen there. Not at all. And just for the record, I never made it 8 seconds. I came to learn that, as far as bull riders go, at 5'11", I was a lot taller than the standard bull rider. They're usually squat and small with a low center of gravity. I was tall with a high center of gravity, and that really doesn't work out that well for you when you have a 3,000 pound farm animal whipping you around and around. And even at 4 or 5 seconds, it feels like a freaking eternity. So anyhow, on to when I actually got run over by a bull. I would go with my friend to other rodeo events, and I forget where this one was at, you know, somewhere in Oklahoma, may even have been in southern Kansas, but I took a ride with him and 2 of the other Oklahoma State Rodeo Club members, and we went to a rodeo. I think my friend was actually competing in it, and that's why we were there. However, when we get up there, you know, at rodeos they do cool little fun games. They do little side events where they get the crowd involved. And, you know, you don't sign a waiver or anything for these. They just take volunteers and you go on out there like the idiot you are. So this one was called Mexican Poker. And no, that's probably not a PC name, and I don't care because that's what they called it. Now, something I'd noticed going on was they painted a couple different rings in the rodeo ring, the overall ring. These were just little painted circles, maybe 3 feet wide. And there were about 5 or 6 of them in the rodeo ring. They call for volunteers and say, hey, the winner will get $100 if you're the last one standing in the ring. Now, you can kind of guess what's about to happen here and what this event entails. They release a bull, and you've got 5 people standing in the ring, and obviously that bull's going to be attracted to these people, and the goal is to be the last one standing in the ring, and that last person gets $100. So, you know, I'm in college, I'm there for a short time. $100 is a lot for a college kid. I can buy a lot of beer right there, so I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I actually got first pick of what ring I wanted to be in. And this is where things get stupid. As if going and competing in an event like this or riding on top of farm animals is not stupid enough as it is, this is where things got really stupid. I volunteered, they gave me first pick, and for some reason my dumb logic said, get the ring closest to the chute. You'll do a cool little spin move and that bull will fly right by you and go right on to the next person. So they get their 5 individuals, and I'm perched in that ring that's maybe 10 feet away from the chute. I dig my heels in, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting, I'm low, I'm crouched down, and they open that chute, and out comes this bull, and guess what I did? I froze. I froze like a deer in headlights. And what happened next is probably one of the most painful things I have felt. That bull's thick forehead hit my head head on and knocked me flat on my ass. Knocked me right over. And you want to talk about a concussion. I'm sure I got a concussion right then and right there. It felt like my eyeball had been blasted to the back of my head. I've got pain shooting straight from front to rear of my head, and I get off and I stagger off. And fortunately, as the bull drugged me, it decided not to circle back for me. It decided to move on. So I get up in a haze. I am dizzy as hell. I'm staggering off, trying to get to the fence, trying to get the hell out of there. And I look over, and I see the drunk female that had decided to get in the ring for this event. And all I can say is, when I looked over, I saw her basically being spun like a top around this bull's horn. Yeah, I got the hell out of there. And I later found out she actually wound up going to the hospital. What kind of sick event sends people to the hospital? What kind of sick event takes volunteers to face off against farm animal for $100? And what kind of idiot actually agrees to that? Well, I'll tell you what, this idiot did. So anyhow, I'm feeling loopy the rest of the night. My friend competes, and we get the hell out of there. I'm so out of it on the way home that we're driving down the highway, and I see a bright light heading towards us, basically crossing the T, and for some reason I thought it was a train. I thought it was a train speeding toward us, our driver's not slowing down, and it's going to plow into us at a railroad crossing. So I'm just yelling, "Train coming on hard, train coming fast," and it turned out to be a car on an overpass. And everyone laughed at me, and I realized then and there that yes, I probably did have a concussion. So anyhow, get back to the dorms, go up to take a shower, because I've got dirt all over me. I've got dirt in every single possible crevice I could have dirt in, because I did get dragged by a bull about 3 or 4 feet. I take off my shirt, and I look myself over, and I see 2 bruises on my chest. I'm like, what the hell are these weird oval-shaped things on me? And I look closer at them, and it dawns on me. Those are hoof prints. Those are hoof prints. And I asked my buddy, I said, "Hey, did I get run over?" He's like, "Yeah, man, those are hoof prints. You got run over by a bull." And that, my friends, is how I got run over by a bull. It wasn't during the course of trying to be a rough stock rider for the Oklahoma State Rodeo Club. It was playing Mexican poker at some rodeo event out in the middle of BFE America on an event that didn't require a disclaimer or anything else, in which another woman was sent to the hospital in God knows what condition because she was spun like a top on top of a bull. Yes, I went to college. Yes, it took me 7 years. Sometimes I was extremely intelligent and bright. Sometimes I was not. And this is one of those incidents in which I was not. Anyhow, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Get me those video submissions in so I can use your videos in the future. Thanks for watching this episode. Zoop out.